Hollywood is known for its stunning rises and falls. But Rachel Zegler's story is a whole other animal. One moment she is being heralded as the next big thing in movies, and the next she is drowning in controversy and negative publicity. How does someone go from being the industry's favorite to almost being shunned overnight?
Rachel Zegler, we're supposed to believe, is just so striking that even the supermodel like Gal Gadot is supposed to be homicidally jealous of her. I mean, we're supposed to completely suspend our disbelief.
Rachel's narrative initially had all the elements of a typical Hollywood fairy tale, and after being found via a widely shared audition video, she was cast in the lead role in Steven Spielberg's West Side narrative adaptation. Her singing ability and on-screen persona were praised by critics, and spectators were enthralled by this bright-eyed newcomer's ability to assume such a legendary character in her interviews. Rachel seems truly overcome by her good fortune.
I mean, people thought my whole trajectory was fake, and sometimes I wake up and I think my whole trajectory is fake, but it's just a testament to taking chances.
On the surface, everything seemed perfect. Her star was rising quickly. She talked about the surreal experience of being personally selected by Spielberg from thousands of hopefuls, and how she had dreamed of seeing her name in lights since she was a teenager. She teased fans about her new take on West Side Story, promising to honor the original while bringing something new to the table. Industry insiders whispered that she had entered the A-list much earlier than usual newbies, and social media praised her for her seeming sincere thanks. But even in these early days, there were hints that something wasn't quite right. Rumors started to circulate that she was unusually outspoken for a newcomer to Hollywood, and there were rumors of small arguments with the choreographers, but both critics and fans wrote them off as normal backstage drama. The reality behind the scenes was evidently very different as West Side Story's marketing tour gained speed, but everyone was too enthralled with this young star to notice the impending storm. Backstage rumors began to circulate from unidentified crew members. Some said Rachel frequently disputed choreography notes, sometimes stopping entire shoots to demand changes that would better suit her. Others suggested she argued with department heads over costumes, insisting that certain ensembles didn't fit her character interpretation or flatter her. The rumors became louder, suggesting Rachel wasn't just passionate, but also potentially disruptive. Spielberg, who was well known for encouraging peaceful, cooperative sets, kept his opinions to himself because he had already openly hailed Rachel as the next big thing.
She got the role not because she was a great singer, she got the role because she's a fantastic actor.
For any newcomer, pushing back against an industry legend would normally be career suicide, but Rachel seemed unafraid to assert herself. Some called it confidence, others labeled it hubris. Rumors suggested she critiqued camera angles, questioned editing decisions, and even argued about dialogue. Apparently, some longtime Spielberg collaborators tried to mediate, explaining that the director's process requires trust rather than constant negotiation. But according to these accounts, Rachel remained unmoved, convinced her instincts mattered more than the experience of an Oscar-winning visionary. For a while, Spielberg maintained a positive public stance on Rachel. Early test screenings for West Side Story were favorable, with audiences praising her voice and on-screen charisma. Yet behind closed doors, insiders claimed the director's patience was wearing thin with each new conflict. He was accustomed to guiding young talent. Just think of Drew Barrymore, Christian Bale, and countless child stars who flourished under his mentorship. But this situation was apparently different. Word began circulating that Spielberg found Rachel's attitude to be a serious obstacle, with one insider reportedly saying he branded her horrible to work with. If true, that single statement sent shock waves through the industry. Spielberg is a legend known for nurturing rising stars, so for him to allegedly cast such a negative light on a newcomer was essentially a storm warning for other directors and producers. Industry insiders speculated that Spielberg was purposefully withholding his approval, and if so, why these rumors persisted like distant thunder until Rachel landed the role of Snow White in Disney's massive live-action remake, a project that seemed destined to cement her stardom, but instead marked the beginning of her shocking downfall. Spielberg never publicly confirmed or denied these rumors of friction. That silence spoke volumes. Many noticed how he lavishly praised Ariana Dios, Rachel's co-star in West Side Story, calling her performance mesmerizing while showcasing her accomplishments. Disney invested more than $250 million in the budget because of their extremely high expectations for Snow White. It made perfect sense to invest in this timeless tale of a princess, a poisoned apple, and a redemptive kiss, but controversy dogged the production from the start. First came the changes that turned the dwarfs into magical beings to modernize the story and removed classic elements that many believed were essential to the fairy tale's charm. Executives were counting on the remake's guaranteed nostalgia and star power to captivate a new generation of viewers, just as they'd done with Beauty and the Beast. Rachel's personal remarks, in which she referred to the prince as a stalker and described the real Snow White as scary, only served to exacerbate the situation. Disney executives reportedly called emergency meetings to discuss the film's disastrous performance, and critics ripped it apart, calling the adaptation hollow and accusing the studio of trying too hard to be politically correct. These remarks did more than just annoy fans. They sparked a full-blown uproar among Disney loyalists, who were already extremely skeptical by the time the film premiered. Rachel's portrayal of the traditional princess was criticized for being heartless, which sparked a surge of unfavorable comments behind closed doors. Disney was reportedly in panic mode. This was supposed to be a guaranteed hit, a cornerstone of their expanding library of reimagined classics. Instead, it became a cautionary tale, and right in the middle of every scathing headline was Rachel Zegler's name, with many mercilessly blaming her for the film's failure. To make matters worse, clips from her interviews went viral for all the wrong reasons. People were outraged that she treated a beloved childhood icon as an outdated relic rather than approaching the project with reverence, but even that might not have completely tanked her reputation if she'd chosen to respond differently. Instead, she made the situation spiral completely out of control. When a film bombs this spectacularly, most stars do damage control through expressions of regret or humility, the typical path to public forgiveness, acknowledging that something went wrong despite everyone's best intentions. Rachel took a different approach. According to reports, she partly blamed external factors, suggesting that audience interest in the upcoming Minecraft movie overshadowed Disney's marketing efforts. This seemed like a silly reason to the supporters, but the internet quickly turned it into a meme. If Rachel had thought that her explanation would make things better, her plan backfired catastrophically. The public was desperate for an apology, or at least an acknowledgement of how the film had alienated longtime Snow White fans, but they didn't get it. Instead of going on a planned apology tour, she seemed to retreat, giving the impression that she was only enthusiastic when everything was going her way. Critics relentlessly used her own interviews as ammunition to paint her as conceited and disengaged, and fans who had once seen her as the bright new star from West Side Story started to question whether they had been duped by well-planned publicity from Disney and Spielberg. You would think that with all of these tragedies, Spielberg would intervene and set the record straight, but his silence suggested to many that the alleged unfavorable rumors might be true. When Hollywood's most renowned director decides not to stand up for you, the message reverberates throughout the industry in Tinseltown. Words matter, but silence can be 1,000 times louder. Spielberg, renowned for championing unknown actors who later became household names, remained conspicuously silent regarding Rachel. He neither confirmed nor denied the horrible-to-work-with rumor. He simply let it linger on, and a quiet non-response sent ripples across the industry. Like a silent condemnation, executives, producers, and agents became increasingly wary. People began scrutinizing old West Side Story press events, analyzing Spielberg's interactions with Rachel for any signs of tension. Imagine raised eyebrows, forced smiles, or carefully chosen words. They replayed interviews where he enthusiastically praised Ariana Dios, while barely mentioning Rachel, finding meaning in every perceived pause and gesture. In reality, nobody outside Spielberg's immediate circle knows his true thoughts, but the widespread belief is that if he had anything positive to say about Rachel, he would have said it by now. Even during awards season, he seemed to champion everyone else in the cast, leaving her with lukewarm acknowledgments at best. This wasn't just about West Side Story either. After Snow White's catastrophic performance, many expected Spielberg might address the fiasco, if only to quiet the rumor mill. Instead, the director maintained his distance. And in Hollywood's fickle world, that's enough to poison someone's prospects, since the biggest name in the industry seems to prefer to let the rumors speak for itself. Many industry insiders think Rachel's phone may soon stop ringing for leading roles. However, the rumor that Rachel is about to be blacklisted is perhaps the biggest threat to her future, because in a field where relationships are everything, your reputation can make or break you after two high-profile disasters, one with Spielberg and another with Disney. Rachel is in a lot of trouble right now. According to rumors, top executives are debating whether it's worth the risk to hire someone who is known to be so erratic. With every new leak on her purported demands or casual remarks, concerns about her potentially disrupting production or influencing public opinion against a film increase. There are rumors that she has already been taken off of several big studios' casting lists. The implicit reasoning is straightforward. Why should anyone else risk working with her if Spielberg regretted it? A Hollywood blacklisting is more of a tacit recognition that some chances are no longer open. No studio wants to spend millions on a project and run the risk of another Snow White-level disaster. Hollywood can be lenient if you can come up with a new story, according to other industry figures, but no filmmaker wants to deal with off-camo turmoil that could ruin their painstakingly planned production. Rachel might change course and offer heartfelt apologies, or take on more modest independent endeavors to regain her reputation, but doing so would necessitate introspection and a readiness to accept responsibility for her role in these scandals. There is no doubting that Rachel Zegler's journey has become a cautionary tale that highlights how quickly fortune can turn in a business driven by public perception. If Hollywood's past teaches us anything, it is that setbacks can be reversed but not without genuine contrition. As these debates continue, viewers and insiders alike wonder if Rachel can salvage her once promising career, or if the Hollywood machine has already moved on. One minute you're the industry's favorite upstart, with everyone supporting you, and the next you're the target of nasty internet memes and rumors about a toxic culture in Hollywood. Having staying power requires more than just skill. It also requires humility, character, and the capacity to change course when things go wrong. Rachel's severe setback raises the question of whether it will be a temporary setback on her route to success, or a permanent detour. If there is one lesson to be learned from all of this, it is how easily fame can vanish when rumors turn out to be false and box office setbacks collide. Only time will tell if she can win back the support of directors, fans, and studio executives who once supported her ascent. After all, Hollywood loves a redemption story almost as much as it loves a scandal. Feel free to develop your own theories regarding who is to blame, or whether the fallout is overblown. The only thing that is constant in Tinseltown is that opinions change quickly and frequently. A new headline tomorrow might either restore Rachel's old fame, or put the last nail in her Hollywood coffin, leaving everyone in suspense until that point.